Welcome to Parks on the Air forum here from the Peoria Area Amateur Radio Club. My name is Tom Hunt. My call is W8NWG. My partner in crime, Mark Suhs.
W9WGN.
And between us, we've done a few parks. I get the first things first. I want to ask how many of you have done Parks on the Air as activators? Okay, so less than half. How many of you do Parks on the Air as hunters? Okay. Also, even less than that. Interesting. My strong suit, I do a lot of hunting, and Mark does a lot of activating. So we'll kind of give you a quick overview of this, how this whole thing got started and where it's going. And I need to give credit to Deb, UD9EB, for helping with this PowerPoint.
Yep.
She happens to be the PowerPoint expert. So what I want to know is what part of ham radio do you enjoy doing? For example, let's see, do you do like getting awards like DXCC, worked all states, worked all counties, worked all grid scores? Do you like doing that? Show of hands. Okay, good. Okay. How about contests? And there's a contest of some sort almost every single week. Okay. What about DX chasing? That's kind of how I got into ham radio. Chasing rare DX. Yeah. I guess that would include, for example, D-expeditions. And there are more and more of those. Maybe you saw Craig Thompson's St. Paul Island D-expedition forum earlier today. Okay. Well, we already talked about the work all states net. As a matter of fact, there are nets that exist, especially at night on 40 meters, just to get states from people and get them confirmed. So you do worked all states? You've got your worked all states.
I got worked all states. I'm working on 5-band worked all states.
The dude. Let's see here. Not necessarily radio. Do you like hiking and camping? Okay. We like camping. As a matter of fact, you'll see a picture of our new camper somewhere in here. Okay, what about doing field day? The Peoria Club, we do field day, both winter and summer field day, or just going out and doing portable operations. Like, for example, I visit family in Michigan. I take my gear with me and I set up at the family homestead and operate from there. Yeah, that's always fun. So if you've got a good go box, then this is a great way into Parks on the Air, or this is a good time for you to build a go box. Any of you like to do antenna experimenting? In the early days of ham radio, a lot of us had to build our own equipment and did a lot of kit building. So this is all part of it. How about EME and QRP, weak signals? Okay, you guys do it all. That's great. All right, let's see here. Backscatter. Yeah, I forgot about backscatter. Or meteor propagation. That's always interesting. Digital. I bet you all do digital, right? All of them. About the only digital I played with really is RIDI. Almost like the original digital. So QRP. There's some great QRP equipment out there. Matter of fact, we gave a QRP station away last year, and the Zegu. Yeah. On the table. Yep. There it is.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. That's a great radio. That's, by the way. So if you're looking for a QRP rig, talk to Scott. Okay. Let's see here. Like what I started doing, just getting on the air. So if you all do that, then yeah, you're all a good candidate for POTA. Here's another way of looking at how the different aspects of ham radio. And I don't think this chart does it justice, but again, you see how rare DX, CW, phone, digital, experimentation, QRP, field days, contesting. A lot of that rolls into Parks on the Air, and that's what makes it kind of fun. So Let's talk a little bit about what Parks on the Air is. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my partner in crime here and talk a little bit about what Parks on the Air does for you and for ham radio.
Okay, basically, what is Parks on the Air? So, it was created by the ARRL, actually, National Parks on the Air, celebrating the 100th anniversary of the National Park Service. It was a one-year event, and it was just, at the time, limited to national parks. So some of the participants in National Parks on the Air became leaders, creators of POTA, and they're still ongoing. I mean, the work those guys do is something else. I mean, they're always busy doing something. They expanded to include designated states, federal parks, as well as certain national historic and wildlife management areas. POTA is now international, believe it or not, as of right now. And Parks on the Air kind of encourages its members to go out and operate ham radio from beautiful places located in the great outdoors. These are called activations. It also encourages members to work activating those beautiful places is called hunting. Now, to take an example, I lived in Central Florida for 9 years. There was 2 parks, one within an hour of me, one within 5 miles of me. Never spent any time in it. There's Parks on the Air. So when I was down in Florida at Christmas time last year, went to the one park that used to be near my house, and the other one I activated was Merritt Island National Wildlife Refuge. Kind of fun, great scenery too as far as the wildlife. So it does encourage you to go to places that, that's pretty neat. So how does this work? Okay, both the activators and hunters earn many different awards. These awards are similar to the ARRL All States Awards, except there are no QSL cards or card checking involved, which is always kind of a nice thing. The activator logs his or her contacts and simply creates an ADF file from their log. Then the log is sent to the regional director or uploaded. Now it's basically all the files are uploaded to their system, and basically within minutes it's been verified. Okay, the hunters automatically credit based on their activator's log. And these awards are earned by making contacts and then made available on the POTA website. You can simply print them out if you wish. So there's no sending the QSL cards in, there's nothing they do. You earn a certain plateau. You go up there, you see your award, you can print it out, save it on your computer as a PDF and look at them that way, and probably a lot easier than trying to print them all out. But if you like that, that's very good. Okay, there's minimum rules, very little overhead, and a lot of fun for everybody. Yep. Let's see, get to go back. Okay, what's needed? Let's see. Okay. Okay, what's needed to activate it? It's pretty simple. The operator gets to schedule like a field day event anytime you want to. So if you want to go out tomorrow and play in the park, you don't have to, okay, the calendar says I need to be on here this time. No. You get to decide what radio antenna, how much power you want to put out, whether it's 100 watts, I run 100 watts, QRP, whatever you want to do. And then, as far as logging, that's up to you. A lot of people use paper and pen. I try to use an older tablet type of thing. Makes it easier, especially when you want to make an ADF file. And there's a lot of people that like to walk it into some of these parks. You go on the POTA website and kind of look. We'll see the way the parks are set up. But there's a lot of times, let's say you got to walk into this park, and it's not my thing. Many choose to camp overnight. There was a group, I think a couple of years ago, they went up to Star Rock and spent the weekend up there. That's a park. You spend, have a little fun, camp out, and yeah. And then you got to make 10 contacts that equal to make a successful activation. Okay, what do you need to activate? The operator gets a scheduled field day. Okay. Okay, I already went through that one. Come on. Okay, yeah. Okay. Why become a hunter? Yeah, it's pretty easy. You sit at your house and have a cup of coffee in the morning and knock off a dozen parks real easy. And you get to the point where you work these guys long enough, you get to know who they are. They know your voice. And I got a friend of mine that grew up in the Chicago area. I met him in Florida. He actually moved to Idaho. Anytime I hear him, yeah, you work him. And there's actually an award for that. It's called repeat offender. I think if you work the same guy 100 times, you get another award. And here's, I'll let Pat take over for a little bit.
Yeah, that's the repeat offender award. Probably that's something in marketing, especially when you do the same parks over and over again, which is fine. People do that, and there's always a call for those parks. People are always looking for some of the, like around here, one of the most popular parks is Jubilee College. I've activated it, Mark's activated it, a number of club members have activated Jubilee College, and we pick up that minimum every single time, which is what makes it kind of fun. Some of the other awards, I like the Cheetah Award, where you do 5 parks in one day. You know, make your minimum of 10 contacts at each of the parks. And you have to move quickly from one park to the other, usually because a lot of the parks close at dusk. So the Cheetah can move quickly and activate those parks. That's what makes it fun. The other one that's a lot of fun is, again, the Repeat Offender Award is, we talked about it a little earlier. The Ave Award, this is kind of a neat one because if you're really a good activator and you do 100 parks or more, you get the Agave Award. Or the Bronze Activator Award for 10 park activations. So obviously one is a stepping stone for the other. Let's talk a little bit about the equipment that you need for portable operations. And well, just turn my radio off, Mark. Basically, you can use HF or VHF or UHF. I'll tell you a little story about UHF and VHF. But obviously most people activate on HF. Most popular band, 20 meters, obviously. Though if you're a big CW operator, a lot of us hang on 30 meters as well. But one of the interesting things, driving to Dayton, for the Dayton Ham Venture in May, there was somebody that went to one of the parks on 5.2 simplex, and he got his 10 activations within minutes because all the mobile stations coming in were monitoring 5.2. So he made his 10 activations on 2 meters, and then he went up to 440. He got his 10 activations there. So there you go. And he did it, it was a piece of cake because obviously VHF and UHF was filled with mobile stations. So that was a pretty creative way of getting a good activation. Again, you can do QRP or you can do high power. Now this shows high power being 100 watts. So I've talked to a couple of stations that think they've gone more than 500 because some of the mobile rigs can go 200 or even more. And some people have mobile rigs with amplifiers. So that's overkill. 100 watts is a good challenge level. And of course QRP is a great way to activate. And as we talked a little earlier, there are some wonderful QRP rigs on the market. Power sources, the most obvious one is battery. Now, I'm lazy. I don't do a battery. I don't activate parks unless I can plug into AC. I have a simple, high-quality switching power supply. Switching power supplies, they tend to be noisy, but I've got a good quality one. And as a result, it keeps the noise to a minimum. Mark's a battery guy. There are some people who keep the batteries charged with solar panels. So again, you can be creative. There's no limits on the type of power source you can use to power a radio, even though there are only a finite number of power sources available to us. Antennas. Probably the most popular type of antenna is a mobile antenna. A lot of people use their cars, or they'll maybe set up outside of, out in a pavilion or something in a park, they'll still radio up to the mobile antenna on their car or truck. Mark and I both use the alpha antennas, great antennas. I also, along my lateral, people use buddy poles, people use ham sticks. Ham sticks are very, very popular. As an example of the versatility of a ham stick, the W9BFD Club got on the mid-cars this morning, and Mike had a ham stick out, and 40 meters, and we talked to the net control operator in Michigan. Beautiful signal using a ham stick. So, yeah, there are many ways, many antenna configurations. Do whatever works for you the best and whatever you can afford. Again, our radios have built-in antenna tuners. Sometimes we use an external antenna tuner, or if you're really, really up to the challenge, you're going to build that perfectly resonant antenna. Put that on without a tuner. So you're taking chances. Again, use headphones, use the headset, handheld mic, you use a straight key, you use a gear. There's no limits on the type of equipment. We all use different types of equipment. Mark mentioned earlier, he uses a computer. I use a computer sometimes, the internet's in. Quite often I just use a pencil and paper and I just transcribe it to my computer later on. And I don't upload it to Logbook of the World. And of course you have to upload the log files to the Parks on the Air website as well in order for that to be a legitimate activation. So that pretty much summarizes the way you can do things. Is basically anything goes, which is kind of nice.
Hammers? Some people will.
Okay, I'm going to talk about this one. I'm going to turn this over to Mark because some of the equipment, this is my equipment. And the most important piece of equipment on that table is that blue can. Got to have a cool one. I do both CW and sideband. And I've got a keyer, and I also have obviously a mic for sideband. That's a Kenwood 440AG, the 100-watt version. I like the one with the separate head, so I can move the power supply and the body of the radio, the power supply, off to the corner of the table to minimize noise and for better ventilation. So I just have a speaker and the head, along with the keyer and the microphone right in front of me, and the beer is always within reach. That's the system I've been using for years. If it works, don't fix it. But the other part of the activation is just as important because my wife and I like to camp. In May, we picked up a brand new ePro camper. And the first thing we did, we picked it up in Springfield. So the first thing we did was go to Lake Zoo Salem, State Historic Site, which is a park. And I set up that equipment and activated. And you can see we're still putting things away in the camper and figuring out where everything goes. But the first thing I had to do is make sure it worked as a POTA site. So you can use a camper, a tent, just go out to a pavilion, a picnic area for the day, work from your car. As long as you're in the park, it's legitimate. Speaking of being in cars, this is Mark's setup. I'll let him describe that for you.
Okay, this is my activation, as you can see, from Merritt Island National Refuge in Florida. That's my little Nissan Kicks. Inside it has a Yaesu 857, which is an all-band radio. The antenna you can probably see right off the front bumper there. That's my Alpha. It stakes into the ground, and there's a ground wire that runs to the left. Now, with this park, it's kind of, I really had to be careful because it is a national park. Sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission. Remember when I really couldn't find anybody. Now, I talked to somebody that actually did this park once before, but they sat at the visitor center at a picnic table. I figured, well, what the heck. This was on a trailhead, parking lot for a trailhead. So people were kind of come and go. Nobody ever bothered me. Nobody said anything to me. I figured if somebody was going to complain about me, it would take them an hour to get back to the visitor center. because it's a one-way road that winds all the way around back to the main highway before you get back to the visitor center. I only had an hour and a half to get 10 contacts, so I was gone before anybody could complain. Okay, this is my activation in Kansas back in July. This is at Clinton State Park, US 2332. As you can see, now I've got the Alpha with a tripod, which works a lot better. On the table is my Go box. Inside the Go box is the FT100. I also have a LifePo, it's a PowerWorks LifePo 15 amp hour battery. And it plugs in, it has connectors for cigarette lighter adapter and power ports. I've never run the battery down in an hour and a half to 2 hours. And yeah, I'm getting maybe 20 contacts and leaving, but you know, it doesn't even bother the battery. So it gets set up, and in fact, that particular day, I was waiting for the park ranger to come by because he didn't show up. Only to admonish the people in the pavilion who were playing music too loud. He never looked at me, never bothered me. And there's where Tom and I and my wife Deb, WD90V, were set up at Jubilee State Park, which Tom says is the more popular one around in the area here. So, yeah, that's my little orange. The little orange box is the battery box. So, and I think we're running my FT100 that day. Okay, where can I go to activate? Okay, you can see where my QTH is in the blue. That's Hopedale. All the little yellow dots you see, those are parks. So, I mean, there is a plethora of parks here in Central Illinois.
Designated parks.
Designated parks. This is off the POTA website. As you can see, there's a POTA.app.map. And any of these little yellow dots, fair game. And for example, my wife and I completed an East Coast trip for vacation. Well, one of the places we stopped, because we were only 3 miles from it, was Valley Forge. Nice picnic area, set that up, and yeah, I think I got 15 contacts, called it good, because it was like 95 degrees that day. And on the way back, we hit a park just a little west of Dayton. Beautiful afternoon. My wife says, take as much time as you want, but yeah, if you find one of these little designated parks, yeah, it's all good. Okay, here's some rules to participate. Need to be a licensed ham, obviously. Next, you need to go to Parks on the Air website and join. It's absolutely free. It's really, self-explanatory. Okay, you must operate within the boundaries of the park or the wildlife area. If you're activating a trail, which I've never done, like the C&O Canal they're talking about, this presentation is kind of an adaptation from some guys on the East Coast. The Appalachian Trail, then your gear must be located with 100 feet of the trail. I've never done a trail, so. Okay, so successful activation requires you, the activator, to make a minimum of 10 contacts from that location in the same zoo time day. So you'd have to get your 10 parts before, like right now, 6 p.m. And it's usually not a problem. Usually you can't quite the pile up. Contacts can be made on any of the ham bands. All modes, including satellites, are acceptable. The only exception is no 2-meter repeater, 440, no repeater conversations. All contacts count, not just ones with POTA members. You can work anybody you want. Now, if you're out in the park somewhere and you want to get those 10, great way to get 10, go find a CUSO party. They'll work you in a heartbeat. I've done that one too. Working someone in another park is special. It's called park to park. It's another way to get your 10. I usually, first thing I do before I get out of frequency, I'll go search park to parks. Usually you can get half your 10 right there somewhere. The bands are good. Okay, go to the POTA website and sign up. You need to decide if you're going to be an activator and put together a mobile or a portable operation. If not, just become a frequent hunter. It's a lot of fun. I'm not like Tom. I only got about 800 parks that I've hunted. Okay, there's no fun in putting a portable station together and endlessly calling CQ and no one answered. Okay, so if you're a POTA person, you say CQ Parks on the Air, I can guarantee you somebody will find you and they will report you, spot you, whatever you want to call it, and you work on pile-ups. Okay, like I said, there's many, as it says, many members are across the country. Me fighting another member, and it has happened. I haven't had it happen to me, but people will actually be in the same park and just, you know, far enough away where they're not interfering with each other. Okay, is it time to join the fun? Okay, spend some time on the website. There's the website, https://POTA,
Okay.
and that's wrong. It should be
Yes, yeah.
.app. I didn't get that one. Messed that up. And they do have a Facebook page too. Okay, and this is where you would see with the activator page. You know, you go to that website, and it's .app, and everything. That's what the activator looks like. You know, people that are activating, you can kind of see what band they're on, where they're at, and what you can hear. So it's kind of what I do. If I can hear them, I usually try to chase down the frequency, and then see if I can hear them more. Okay, just you know, moving parts on the air. So, like I said, I did not notice that the web browser was, or the website URL was bad. That was so. Okay, I think that's it for this part. Anybody got questions? Yes, sir.
So, the hunters are people that are available to be a contact for you as an activator, is that?
An activator is somebody that sits in a park,
Right.
and he's looking for contacts. Now, the people he talks to, they don't have to be looking for parks on the air. Like I said, there was one time I was desperate because I was on a time constraint. It just so happened it was the same week as Florida Cusa Party. So I kind of filled in my outlaw with working those guys in accounts.
So I guess I'm trying to figure out the hunter part of it. Is that people that?
The hunter is the person that sits at their base station and looks for parks.
Right.
So
Is there like, you go to the POTA's website and like when you go to a park to set up, do you like register at the website and let people?
yeah. There's as you pull down the menu, you can see.
He's going to bring the website up.
Okay, Scott's going to bring the website up. You would, what they call spot yourself. You put your call, the frequency, the designator of the park, and what frequency are you hanging out at. And it'll ask for a comment. Okay, if you just start calling CQ, and a lot of guys will also post on the Facebook page. So, you know.
So you're kind of letting people know that, hey, I'm going to try to activate.
Yeah.
this park.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is kind of where I'm hanging out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the whole idea, because as a hunter, being retired, I spend a lot of my daylight hours chasing parks, just because it's fun to do. And that spot page is the most important tool, because it tells you the frequency they're on, the park they're at, and that sort of thing. And if you see a rare park or an all-time new one, AT&O Park, then you want to go after them especially.
There's a gentleman that Tom and I both work. His name's Dell. I don't remember Dell's call.
Oh, Dell, yeah.
Dell is like a unique character, isn't he?
No, he's in Washington, D.C.
He lives in the Washington, D.C. area, and somehow he gets
N3.
he gets 5 parks by
Let me get on this. I'm going to show him a couple things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do. But yeah, Dell, if you're looking for Washington, D.C., he's your man.
So you can see, for example, NAUM is at Mayberry State Park in Michigan. I happen to know where that is. And he's working FT8 right now, that particular frequency in 14074. One of the nice things about this is that you can, if you want to only find CW stations, you can pick your mode, CW. Right now, there are 37 stations activating on CW, and of course, you get a lot more than that on band. 68 are on right now at this moment. I'm not even signed in. But there's, in addition to seeing the mode in the park, you can also see the frequency they're on, who spotted them, and the last time they were heard. So you can tell if they're, if they decided to quit operating or go QRT for a while or take a break, you can see from when they were last heard whether they're still active or not. Yeah, go ahead and sign into yours if you'd like. I don't have this one yet. Yes.
Put it in your
Yeah.
site, like 20 meters, 40 meters.
Really?
Yeah, it does. That's what I do too. So,
So you're just kind of using that possible to kind of coordinate.
yes, sir.
One more thing I might want to add is for the CW and the NTA guys.
Yeah.
If you can if you know, or even decide, you can say, hey, I'm going out, I'm going to activate this part
That's all right.
at this time.
Yeah.
And if you're in the CW or FTA, and the PSA recorder or the RVN picks you up, it automatically spots the recorder page.
Right.
And so,
Yeah, usually if guys are going to switch from sideband to like FT or CW, they will announce, okay, I'm going to go to FTA, I'm going to go to CW, because FTA, I don't believe you can put, I mean, you know, you can call code, but you can't put the designator because there's only so much.
So let's spy on Scott a little bit and take a look at his statistics. Let's take a look at it. He had any activations? No, apparently not.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's, okay, let's do this again.
It's not a log using analog, using something else.
My stats, that's what we want.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. All phone contacts. I take it you're not super active right now, Scott?
I mean, I am, but
You
I'm
can
horrible
see-
at logging.
He's done 12 digital and 91 phone contacts as a hunter. If you look at mine, I don't want to brag or anything, I've got 13,100 contacts.
Where compared to
12,000.
150.
12,000 domestic from 3,000 parks. That's what I've hunted. But I only have about 6 activations. When did I start? Right after National Parks on the Air switched to Parks on the Air. And again, you know, the history of that. National Parks on the Air was such a huge hit. As a matter of fact, Mark and I activated, I think right at the end of the National Parks on the Air year, we activated, I think the last thing was Indiana Dunes Lakeshore. And that was it. And then the year ran out on the National Parks on the Air. Well, people were clamoring because this was such a fun thing to do, a fun activity, and it really lit a fire under ham radio. That people outside of ARRL started National Parks on the Air, but an independent group called WWW or W Worldwide Flora and Fauna, and then Parks on the Air, 2 different organizations started their own, and they added state parks and wildlife conservation areas and that sort of thing. So there were many, many, many more activities to activate, or entities to activate.
I mean, I usually do mine QRP like 5 to 20 watt. That's how I do my POTA. So if you say QRP and then get your calls, they will try to get back to you before they lose you. That's the fun part about doing QRP.
The 2 things that gets their attention is QRP, or if you're activating, you call somebody park to park.
They will shut everybody down.
You stood in front of the line.
Yep. So anyway, it's just a hoot. I mean, I've had so much fun with this. It's actually breathed new life into amateur radio. It really has. You know, Mark activates more than I do. I like to sit home, drink beer, and chase. But we always have a lot of fun. And never tried it. Let one of us know, and we'd love to take you out with us when we're activating. You'll be hooked, I guarantee it. Any other questions?
I assume there's an index somewhere that tells you what park you're in?
Yes, on this, on the website, again, the POTA website is just a wealth of information. You have a list of the park maps. The problem with this is that, well, there you go. This is not what I wanted.
Or you can just click on that.
Yeah. The problem with this is that I'll get over there. We'll just. You have to scroll through a huge country list, and then scroll down to the United States, which has the most parks of any of them in the Parks on the Air system. So it's kind of cumbersome to go down and find the park you want. You can either look up a park number, or you can look it up and find a park itself, a state, several different ways of indexing them. So to answer your question, it's all here.
And is the park logged by the name or by the number?
Both. Both. And for example, you'll see like US 3689, Lincoln's New Salem State Historic Site. And what I do for my log, I always put the park number and park name in, so I just scroll down and I copy and paste that particular bit of information from the spot page and put that right in my log.
You got a question over here also?
Yes.
Yes. I want to know more, Mark, about the kinds of batteries that you're using.
I'm using what they call a LifePro. It's a lithium-ion battery. PowerWorks makes it a little Pelican case, kind of like this, like this. It's, obviously 12 volt, and mine's 15 amp hours.
Okay.
And it's really kind of neat because it actually has an emergency light on it, very bright LED light. It's got an accessory. It shows you it has a voltage meter on it. It tells you where the state of your battery.
For your
It's got a
Goax.
separate lighter adapter, and it's got 2 power pole outputs. And I think it's got a USB port for it, so you can do just
I had
about
two.
anything you want with this
So there
battery.
you go.
How much does that weigh? That
Oh, geez, probably less than 5 pounds.
for
And it's,
Pass it
batteries have been like the missing piece for us.
It's a good one. I'll be right back.
like I say,
Pass it out,
the
please.
lead acid is not good. You try to haul this.
60-pound piece, like.
And like I say, I usually don't operate more than a couple of hours because probably with time constraints or weather, heat. When I was out in Kansas, it was 98 degrees. So I stayed underneath a shade tree. I got my 12 and got out of there. So, but it was
That's where the
good.
beer comes in
Which was
handy.
good because about 20 minutes.
Need more here?
later,
Anybody?
you
You good?
Oh, do they? Oh. Oh, okay. So, more and more that this gets
Big
popular.
couple.
Radio people, manufacturers, they're coming out with more stuff that kind of gears towards POTA. So, I mean, like I say, the alpha antenna breaks down. I was carrying the thing in a backpack. And,
afford that?
doing it. Yeah. So finally, it's kind of like, okay, I got this whole telescope case. It's like this. The whole station fits in there, except obviously the battery and the radio. So,
Got a couple for each of you here.
any other questions? Yes, sir.
You want more?
Pretty
You good? Okay.
Pardon me?
Some of our small calls was talking about how to get more hand-radio operators.
This is actually good. I've read some articles where this actually helps build, attract members, because it gets people out. Like I say, around here, Jubilee State Park, we usually hang out in the pavilion. Now, you can bring a grill or some drinks. You can make a day of it. We've done that before, too.
I've gone on camping
There's
trips where,
bathrooms and everything in Jubilee.
What's that, Scott?
There's grills and
Oh,
bathrooms.
yeah. There's bathrooms and everything else, so.
Jubilee's easy.
We thought about was libraries on there.
Okay.
Retired people, not as many students as there used to be.
Right.
But libraries on there, one in every town, they see what's going on out here, might get some youth.
Yeah, it gets you, maybe you want to attract more members, and get more members through, your club meetings. I mean, our club tries to go out a couple times a year and activate a POTA. Probably most of the time it's Jubilee, but it's a nice familiar park. Everybody feels good about it. It's easy
We
to
did
get.
Starved Rock one year.
Starved Rock, when we did a camping trip up to Starved Rock, so yeah, it's nice.
In my case, because my wife and I like to go camping. We go to a state park. We will stay for several days, so I'll activate each day, which counts as a fresh activation. I might do an activation on CW only, an activation on sideband. Sometimes I combine them because you can mix your modes in an official activation. And when you upload your log, again, Parks on the Air doesn't care whether it's CW, sideband, and digital. It can be all mixed up into one activation. Not a big deal. The main thing is to get out there and do it. And each day, if for example, I'm hunting parks, and there's a guy at Jubilee College State Park, I talked to him today. He's there again tomorrow. I'll talk to him again. That's a new activation for both him and for me. A fresh park for hunting. So
Before the Zulu hour, right after.
that's right. I've done that too because we use Zulu time. So what is it?
6 or 7.
Yeah.
Time of the year,
So sometimes
7 now.
I talk to him early in the day, and I might talk to him again later on in the afternoon when it's after midnight Greenwich Mean Time, and it's another activation because it's another calendar day. So
Some of these guys, they will activate some of those unique places. There've been a couple of guys, you know this, they've activated Alcatraz.
yeah,
That takes a little pull.
When we were at Daytona, we had 21 activators one time.
Wow.
You were calling at Dayton? No, they're at Caesar Creek had the 20.
I think everybody was out there.
Everybody-
Caesar Creek, yeah.
Cedar Creek, yeah.
We were at Cohen.
The Discord group.
Yeah, we were at Caesar, and there was 5 of us at Cohen.
Yeah.
So we were like, and so there's 100 cues and like that. We're like,
I've been to some parks like around the Ham Fest, and there are so many antennas up around the park that, you know, you're desensing everybody's radios.
right, you
yeah.
call on it, it's like we
Yeah.
used to VHF, right? We were on
Yeah,
VHF
yeah.
at Dayton. We were on Sunday at Dayton, you were VHF,
Yeah.
UHF, and 220, and we were at the Yard Club, all there, and then people were there, and so we just did VHF, so bunch of fun.
Yeah, I think one of the things too is get in groups, you know, the Peoria group, the local group, whatever, and get to know the guys. You talk to them a lot, but you never meet them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can come to something like this, you get to meet
Yep.
these guys.
Yep.
And that's really the joy of it.
We had a question in the back.
Yes, when you go camping in the park, you usually just set up right outside your camper then?
Yeah, a little thing about using your camper, depending, one of the problems with parks is that the power system in the parks can be kind of dicey. Voltages may not be good, or you might get some spikes, so obviously you always want to have a good surge protector for your camper, which, you know, is elementary for campers. But for me, because I like to use a high quality Astron switching power supply, I find that if I plug it into the camper itself, the converter in the camper, which is kind of your combination battery charger and AC panel, will introduce a lot of noise, and the radio doesn't like that. Or sometimes the radio and the RF surge will actually cause problems with the camper power system. In my brand new camper, first time I used it, I plugged it into the side of the camper without thinking about it, and I blew an AC breaker in the panel in the camper, and I had to reset that. So what I do is I always carry a length of good quality extension cable with me, and I generally, most power posts at most campsites have a 30 amp and or 50 amp connection, but they also have a couple of 20 amp connections, regular house plugs. So I plug into that, then it's fine. The noise goes way down, I'm not doing anything to the camper, the camper's not doing anything to my radio. So you have to be a little creative. And I may have to go over to the dark side eventually and get a battery.
Yeah.
But, which I should do anyway, because it's a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
It's a lot better that way because you've got pure DC. So yeah, you have to be aware of all of that when you're camping. Did I really answer your question, or did I digress rather?
The other guy, do you have your gear with you today, or?
No, I thought about bringing it up, but at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's kind of like I was foggy, but I should have brought it up to show you guys.
I'd like to see your battery setup and stuff.
Okay.
And look at the brand, is it a particular brand, other than having a Light Pro battery?
I bought this from PowerWorks. PowerWorks makes, I bought it from a guy down in Tennessee. He's at the date, and he had a good price on it. Like say, it said
$250?
me. I don't have to walk around and 100 amp LiPo or lead acid a small pellet case like this. They suggest that you charge the thing at least once a month if you're not going to use it. I usually do that, or after I'm done with an activation, I charge it.
I mean, you have to charge it built in.
It comes with a charger.
Yeah,
See, that's where you got to be careful, because if you just go out and buy a LiFePo battery, you got to buy the charger too. This came with the charger.
Yeah, it's a
With
neat
the battery
setup.
set.
Yeah. So, we're getting near the end of our time. Are there any other questions? I want to thank you all for coming. I hope that you learned something. If not, it's not my fault.